Testes, testes, 1, 2, 3.
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Hey, welcome back. You guys may have noticed we have been putting video out in all kinds of formats. We've been putting out shorts and we've been putting out regular length videos. Well, today we're going to do a regular length video. And what we're going to do today is try and get this firewall all buttoned up. We need to get it sans holes for starters. They won't allow you on the track with holes in your firewall. You got to have that all plugged up in case like the engine catches on fire or something, right? You don't want hot oil sprayed all over you or parts flying through unobstructed. So you got to have a firewall. So we're going to patch up our firewall. We're not going to be running an air conditioner, a heater, or pretty much anything in this truck. It's going to be a straight up hot rod truck. But we do have to have wipers. It is still going to be a street truck. So that says turn signals, lights, wipers, a horn. I want to be able to turn the key to start it, not have to use a push button, things like that, right? Point is, we're just going to make it a bare bones hot rod truck, get it to No Name Nationals for the burnout contest primarily, and just run it down the track a couple of times, see how she does, if they'll let us. So as part of that, we need to have the thing all buttoned up. So today we're going to patch up the holes in the firewall. So no more talking. Let's just get right to that, and I'll see you when we're done. All right, guys, the only spot on the truck with any rust is right here. I guess the heater core probably leaked at some point, or something like that must have happened. That's kind of strange, but we need to dig it out and see what the damage looks like and see if that's something we can need to repair or have to or can't or will or whatever. All right, so here's that bracket we just took off. This was for mounting the inner fender well. We're clearly not using it, and I didn't care to save this, but I did want to save the firewall. So what we did was we just ground on this where the spot welds were. Until we were able. Oh, that looks evil. Anyway, we'll get back to that. There you go. So now I have the 4 spot welds. I just got to grind all that back smooth, spray a little primer on it, and we'll be good. I gotta remove those, and the bracket on the other side, this bracket here, that bracket there, and then we'll decide what to do next. All right, first attempt ever at bead rolling. Okay, that's working right. Okay. Here's very funny. You know, quick, restart. In the middle of the time. Okay. Here. Oops, here goes. Come here. Okay. Okay, I see. Yeah. This is what I'm going to do. Gotta go back inside. Okay, there we go. Okay. There you go. There we go. Okay. All right, so here it is, my first attempt at bead rolling. As you can see, I got pretty aggressive, and because of that, it's all twisted and tweaked and not awesome. Now, some of this will flatten out when we nail it down, but I really got to get this a lot flatter before we even start. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Just start beating on this thing and see if we can't whip it into shape. Okay, boys and girls, here's the deal. It's straight enough now that you can kind of force it into place with rivets. Sorry, I have a drill bit in my mouth. I can kind of force it into place with rivets. So what I'm doing now is I want to evenly place these rivets. I want to put 2 more in here. I don't want to just put them wherever willy-nilly. I want it to look nice, right? So what I'm going to do is, this is an odd length. It's 14, and that means, what is it, 4 2/3, or yeah, 4 2/3 divided by 3, whatever. Point being, I'm going to use this old school tool because it makes life a lot easier. Basically what you do is you start with a guess. Put one side where your first rivet is and where you think the second one should be, which I think is right there. Then we're going to lock it down, and we're going to go one. If there's one there and one there, whoops, he's slipping all over. So we're short. So what we'll do is we'll open her up a hair. Lock that in, and then we'll do it again. And we're too long now, so we'll shorten her up a hair. And you just keep doing that until it works out. Boom. I'm going to call that close enough. All right, guys, there it is. That's pretty much the finalized design. Is it perfect? Hell no. That's the first time I've ever used a bead roller, so I'm happy it came out as good as it did, especially since I really messed it up. Like this spot here. Turns out having a little bulge in here worked out because there's panels overlaying each other that aren't flat, so that actually ended up helping us. The only real concern is that this flange hangs over a little bit right in this area. And if I get the truck low enough, the tire does kind of hit. So I'm worried about it grabbing this. So we'll have to check our clearances later. But that's what we're going to do for now. It's close enough. So now we got to get it off, open up the holes for our rivets, paint this thing, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. All right, guys, we got our panel back off of there. I've got all the holes smoothed out. I had a couple of things that were proud, so I knocked them in. And the last thing I got to deal with, we cut this flange off. Right? It was here. Well, that's actually the pinch weld that connects these two panels. So as you can see now, nothing holding them together. Now, I could just leave it like that and not care, but I think we'll go ahead and just weld this back together and grind it smooth, and then we'll treat everything, paint everything, and get our panel going. But yeah, I think I need to weld that up before we go too crazy. So I'm gonna do that right now. All right, I forgot to push the button on the camera, but here you go. You can really see all the damage I did to making it. Now that it's shiny, but that's the backside. When it dries, it'll be flat. Nice thing about using flat paint for stuff like this is you can tell when it's dry. Everyone is. We're gonna try this stuff. All right, guys, here's our panel all painted up. It's splotchy and goofy looking. I used a truck bed liner. It's not super smooth. And it got a little thick in a couple spots, but you know what this thing does do? A really good job of hiding my mistakes. All right, well, we tried some satin clear. It is still splotchy, a little too shiny, so I'm gonna try a matte clear next and see if that looks any better. All right, guys, it's just gonna have to be good enough. It's still got stripes and splotches in it, but yeah, screw it. Let's get it in. All right, guys, there we go. One less thing to deal with. So we got that all covered up. And for my first time using a bead roller, all things considered, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Obviously, I could do better with some practice, but I think it looks all right. I think our placement of the rivets looks good. I think even though there's some splotchiness to this truck bed finish, I think overall it looks pretty good. It looks kind of like a dark gray, so I'm cool with it. All right, so there it is, kind of buttoned up. It's not exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to have a nice satin black look to it, but that didn't work out because I didn't quite know how to spray the bed liner right yet. So the bed liner came out all stripy and gross. So we tried to fix it with some matte clear, basically, and it's fine. It looks fine. So we've got our two pieces in. I only showed you making that one because you know, you don't need to make each individual panel. But now we got this hole filled. We got those big holes covered up. We've got our wiper motor in. And as you can tell and probably saw, we polished up our firewall because, you know, shiny paint makes it faster, right? So there you go. We got our electrical fuse panel back in on the inside of the truck. We've got our harnesses kind of about ready to go. We'll do a separate video on the electrical as I get more done on it. But for now, we've got the firewall ready. I can start putting things in here. I'm not going to put too much on here. I want to get the engine in first. Make sure that runs right and everything's hooked up like it's supposed to, because it's easier to work on without anything on the front here. That's why I haven't put the front suspension back on or any of that stuff. So there you go. There's a video. We are making progress on the truck. We'll do another update video at some point, but I wanted to do a video where I actually do some work and make some cool stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks again for watching. We appreciate every last one of you. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. And we'll see you next time. Take care of yourself.